morning. I'm reading a book called The Innovators, and it is a pretty complete history of computing from the days of like Charles Babbage, like way back. And I'm finding I've just now hit the 70s, and I'm realizing that I'm gaining a little bit of perspective, let's say. There was a whole freedom of data and personal empowerment movement that was taking place during that time. That was based around the free exchange of knowledge, rather the free exchange of information, self-publishing and stuff like that. Democratizing information dissemination. And that's, that still exists. And I have to keep that in mind, because before that it was literally just newspapers, That's all there was. And if the newspaper said it was so, then you were just a crazy person standing on the street corner saying it wasn't so. So I'm kind of tempering all of this. I know that I know that things aren't as they should be, but I'm at least getting some perspective that things are better than they used to be. The freedom is still mostly there. There's a video on my liked list, I'll probably link it in the description, that talks about the internet. And if you're younger, or if you weren't around for the real, the time when the internet really became available to the public, AOL, let's just say AOL. If you weren't around for AOL, you should probably check out that video, because it's an interesting view into how things were, and how things changed, and how things are today, and possibly how things are going to get back to the way they used to be. At least I'm hopeful of that. It's going to be harder, but the early internet was harder. So learning detail stuff about how networking really works, how the internet really works, how DNS works, that's probably going to be an issue. Downloading information, like I've been talking about saving stuff on YouTube, downloading YouTube videos. All that stuff's going to get harder to get, because bandwidth is not free. Storage is cheap, but bandwidth is not free. So, familiarizing yourself with the older ways of communicating, not Discord. Familiarize yourself probably with IRC. IRC is probably a good place to start, because those are low cost, low bandwidth, easy to connect to. I don't want to say we're going back to the days of dial-up and BBSs, but I guess it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I think the access is just going to be so intermittent that you're going to need to know tricks and low bandwidth stuff to be able to get what you want. Well, anyways, the point was that the people were very, very excited about personal computing and the freedom that it afforded. We are actually getting a lot of that out of things like Keybase and Telegram, which I think do a very good job of introducing encryption as end-to-end encryption as a standard. It's still, moderately centralized. I can't speak for Telegram, but I feel pretty solid about Keybase. building chat programs and stuff like that is just easy. It's a natural conclusion to this. It's a natural direction to this. It's just that, I don't know, whenever anyone starts, well, I guess you have to build on top of the encryption anyways, and it is open source. Yeah, but that, well, it doesn't mean anything unless someone's actually looking at the source. I don't know. All this is good. It just serves to remind me that, we have a lot of options today for alternative information sharing. And the fact that that is actually kind of an interesting point. The paradigm shift that took place in the, I guess we'll probably call it the monolithic area, or the monolithic age of the internet, where there were monoliths, 5 or 8 monoliths that were just in charge of everything. And you would work through them as a portal. I've said this before, but there are countries where people have cell phones and operate on the internet, and they don't distinguish between Facebook and the internet. To them, Facebook is the internet. So this vast web of connections is only accessible to them through Facebook's portal. And that's exactly what they want, and more or less what they want for cell phones and stuff like that. To be able to create portals to this that you voluntarily purchase and pay for or finance. you pay for your own shackles. That's capitalism. Oh man, I almost stalled there. Oh man, Owen Benjamin is so right. It's like you buy the ticket, you take the ticket. They offer you something, and if you're a fool, or if you don't research it, or if you want the convenience, you want to take the easy way out, you're the one that does it. You do it to yourself. Yeah, well, it is what it is. So connecting via alternative means is going to be important. I say this as someone who's transitioning off of Gmail pretty poorly, pretty slowly, but transitioning nonetheless. I don't think I'm a big enough fish to get my my Gmail closed, but I think that would be raucous. Imagine shutting down Gmail for billions of people. How many users are on Gmail? How many active users, I should say? You shut down a quarter of them. That's still millions of people. Huh. That would be difficult to recover from. I did already move my domain. I realized that there was only really one thing that I could not recover from, and that was my domains. And that's not so much the case at this point, but at that point I was thinking about it. I added Google. And I was like, heh. And I was just like, I just added this company pretty hardcore. It's like, what could they do to me that would be that I would not be able to recover from, or would be the worst thing to recover from? And it was killing my, taking my domain. Because if you kill my Gmail, that's really rough. But I can recover from that. I can transition from that because I have a way to talk to people through my website. Yeah, Troy Fletcher. Bookmarks. We're talking about old tech. Talking about IRC. Talking about aggregator websites. Shoot, Blogspot maybe. We're talking about bookmarks. Bookmarks that are not connected to the internet. Bookmarks that are not connected to your Chrome or your Firefox login. Or at the very least, export those to HTML or to some other JSON format so that you can recover them later. Because if all that data gets wiped, or it's inaccessible, or you fire up your Chromebook, oh wow, you fire up your Chromebook and you no longer have a Gmail account, can you log in? Computing as a service. You better pay your bills. Oh man, that's rough. You turn on your cell phone. Oh, your Gmail account isn't working. Please log in. Actually, my Gmail account got deleted. Oh, well, just log in with your Gmail account. No. I don't actually have a Gmail account. Well, you have to log in with a Gmail account. Did I just get locked out of my tech? Did that just happen? Oh, wow. Good stuff. Fun times. Bookmarks, right. So download your bookmarks. Have those offline. Have those saved in a text file somewhere. I say text file somewhere, and I was about to say Dropbox, and then I'm like, Dropbox, you fool. Why are you still using Dropbox? Then I remembered why. It's because I have Dropbox mirrored like everywhere, and I retain the data. So the worst thing the only thing they could really do is delete it all live, maybe in the middle of the night, and then maybe by the time I wake up, it'll not be there. But I still back up my Dropbox. I back up my Dropbox too, so not a huge deal, not impossible to recover from. Yeah, it's just the point is that the web used to be decentralized, and the Wild West is what it used to be called, and then these big cities popped up. And the Wild West does still exist. But if you're living in the city, you're not going to see it. Someone posted a newspaper ad for someone who was selling their service of teaching you how to surf the web, so that you could learn how to find things on the internet. And they posted it on Twitter as like a kind of a joke of like, hey, look at these good old days where people didn't know how to use the internet. And I was like, haha, that's so funny. I was like, haha, wait a minute. That's still true. Like, there are things that you cannot find if you search them through Google, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. It's not accessible to you. And if the only thing you know how to do is search on those monoliths, then you don't know how to surf. Charlie can't surf. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to get the information that you need to get or that you want to get. So as strange as it is to say, people still don't know how to surf. I would say the information has gotten more accessible, but no, it just hasn't. It's gotten more bogged down with... Well, that's really interesting. It's gotten more bogged down with... I'm thinking about like YouTube's search results, how they've switched to... Oh, they're making money off of that. They're pushing the altruism of like, well, we're going to show the virtue signaling of we're only going to show authoritative news services on the search results, so that you don't get misled by conspiracy theories. They are so getting paid for that. That's like the airports getting paid to put CNN on their screens, or Fox or MSNBC. It doesn't matter. Yeah, that's worth money. They're getting paid for that. So your search results are being doped with non-search results, with advertisements. They are advertisements. You know, Hasbro produces Transformers rescue bots. You know, my children are fans of this show. The TV show was produced to be a commercial. It is a commercial that you watch to get a commercial that they want you to watch to get you to buy their product. All that it does, you know, whatever the lesson is, whatever the animation is, all of that is made to sell you the toys. Or I guess the DVDs to an extent. It's very self-referential. It's very meta. So Google and YouTube, they're making money off of promoting these the old monoliths. So it's the old monoliths and the new monoliths teaming up. Have to think about that.